Hey there, welcome to a behind the scenes look at a recent video that I just finished. I haven't posted the video yet, but it'll be up shortly, so maybe it'll be already up by the time you see this. But anyway, I'm going to talk about a big project that I worked on for the entire past year. I've just kind of finished it. But basically what I wanted to do was create a video for every song on my previous album. But in so doing, I also wanted to learn all about the new AI tools for video. And at the time when I first started, they were just starting to get acceptable because you remember all the, Will Smith eating spaghetti videos and all that were really hilarious and terrible. But they were starting to get good maybe last summer. And so I thought, okay, maybe now's the time I can dive in and learn a bit more about those. And then use those to make some videos for the new album, because I put that album out, which was called On the Outside. I did that around August 1st of last year. I'll use the new AI tools, and I figured that they would be getting better and better as the year went on, so I would just keep learning each of the new tools and try to get better and better at making the videos. Okay, so here's my Bandcamp page. You can probably see that, hopefully. Maybe I'll zoom in for you. There you go. Okay, so On the Outside is here on my Bandcamp page. So if you click on it, you can see there are 10 songs. So I wanted to make videos for each one of these songs. So if you see my YouTube page here, you can see some of them pop up. Like here's one, there's another one. Actually, Changing Skies was the first one I did because it's kind of about UFOs. There's some news about UFOs last summer. And then I did All of Them Gone. So I kind of worked through all the songs one by one. And I tried to put out about one video per month, but sometimes I wasn't able to if I was busy working on something else. And in each video, I tried to learn something new. So with the Changing Skies, that was all brand new to me, but I knew that I had to create kind of like storyboard images, and I could use those images to put together the video and be the starting image, which then it kind of animates the image I created, and that was cool. And then All of Them Gone was where I was able to take my face and use my face in the images so that it kind of looked like me, and it was a picture of me from a Halloween party where I had a top hat on and had glowing eyes and stuff, and so I thought, oh, that's kind of spooky, I'll use that for the video. So you can see that character there. Then there was Good Day to You, Sir was an interesting one because you know how AI video generators at the time is the longer you let the video go, the crazier it got because it just couldn't keep control of the story and the characters and all that. So I thought, okay, what would happen if you just did that? So I create the first image, allow it to animate it for, I think at the time it was a maximum of 5 seconds. And then I would go and capture the very last frame and use that as the first frame for the next 5 seconds. And I did a variety of different sequences that way. So that's why that video is so bizarre, because it's just like AI kind of going crazy. Cosmic Foam was more about trying to do a more realistic interlinking between all the clips, because it's very hard when you're describing a clip. You can provide the prompt and describe the thing, and you can provide the initial frame, and then it will create the sequence, which I think in this one it was also maybe maximum 10 seconds by this point, but more likely 5. And then so you get to the final frame, and then you have to extract that final frame and use that as the next frame. And I wanted to try to have it so the camera angles and motions were all going to follow through. So that one had a lot of keyframe images that allowed me to kind of create that video and make it feel a little bit more seamless. But you'll feel in the video that the camera's kind of like pointing at one thing, and then it's going up here, and then it's going over there and all that. So it's not very natural, but it worked out pretty cool, and the video's nice, and it really kind of captures what that whole song is about reincarnation and the cosmic foam that gives birth to all of us. And Robert Jupiter is another one where, in this case, I wanted to have a mixture of real video, so it's got footage of me and Joan going on an adventure in Niagara on the lake looking for the gravesite of Robert Jupiter. and that involves, you know, traipsing through some wilds, going over a river, kind of trespassing and asking for permission in another case so we could sneak through someone's yard. And so we found the cemetery, and it was something from childhood that I remember, and it was so amazing to see it again as an adult and see that the Heritage Society has kept it up, and it looks really fantastic. And we weren't sure whether we really found Robert Jupiter's grave or not, but there's some unmarked graves there, and it's very difficult to read some of them because of time has kind of erased the names and stuff. So it could have been Robert Jupiter's grave there. Nonetheless, he is buried there, and we're happy to find the site. But also in that video, I went and did some research about black soldiers that were a part of the early Canadian Army, the Loyalists at the time. And Robert Jupiter was one of those. And I found a bunch of art online about the War of 1812 and some of the black soldiers, and was able to take those images and then animate them. So you can put the image into the AI and specify what you want the drawing to do. And so that's what I did for that video. And then I was able to use Photoshop to like extract parts of the paintings and then have those animated separately from the painting. So it was kind of a cool process. The next video on the outside, this one has lots of views on YouTube, and it's pretty cool because the idea for this one was I was thinking, oh, I'm on the hook. I gotta make a video this month. Which one am I gonna do? And on the outside is the first song on the album. I thought, okay, the video's got to be pretty cool, but what am I gonna do? It was winter, it was cold, couldn't do much, and then we had just moved into our new apartment. And we put all kinds of colored lights all over the place because we love colored lights and neat atmosphere in our apartment. So I played around the hallway. I just set the camera up at one point and I started walking up and down the hallway, going in and out of various doors like they do in those cartoons where you go in one door and come out the other door and all that stuff. I thought that's probably what I was going to do. And then I realized that, you know, that's all live action, real video, that I could then take certain frames out of that and use those as my keyframes to create animated sequences that would link up perfectly in the video. So that was one of the first times where I really tried to merge real life with some animated AI scenes. And so that's how all those scenes in that video happened, where, you know, water's coming through the door, the place is on fire, people floating down the river there, the house is destroyed and all that. And I tried to stitch it together as best as I can so it feels realistic. And I think it was really effective. I was really proud of that one and getting it done, because it really kind of showed me, okay, what's possible here. And then, you know, as we move forward in time, I wanted to try some other stuff. So there's the Sense of Doom, which is all about current events and how, you know, we're hearing all this bad news on the TV and the radio all the time, and it's just like relentless. And so I thought maybe I can take some of my drawings, like hand drawings. So for that one, I drew, I don't know how many drawings, a lot, and then use Photoshop to create like a scene with all the drawings that I made. So it felt like, you know, the people are standing together, that there's a TV there that might be coming down on them. So those are all drawn by me. And then I used AI to animate those drawings. And that was interesting because I'm trying to get my weird little cartoons to look normal. And, you know, AI doesn't even know that sometimes I drew something, it's supposed to be a hand. It doesn't know it's a hand because it doesn't look like a hand. So it animates it in a weird way. So you have to make all kinds of different clips. And then by the time I got that finished, I wanted to have the TV, which at one point in that video rises up, and then there's a cartoon on the TV. So I had to figure out how to put another one of my animations inside the TV, and then have the TV go up and the TV come down and try to crush them and stuff. So that was kind of a learning curve for me to have multiple layers in the video and some parts of it transparent, and then, you know, one video inside another video. So Sense of Doom worked out pretty well. It's an entertaining video to watch if you take time to do it. So then got a few more to talk about. Around Christmas time, we had some visitors. We had some visitors from the US come up, and I thought, well, we have them here and we have a bunch of people over, I should make a video. And so maybe the last one is the only video of the ones I made so far this past year that has no AI in it at all. It has a bunch of sort of Photoshop and Premiere trickery to kind of change the layers and the lighting and all that in the video, but there's no AI in that one whatsoever. But a couple of cool features about that one was there's a sequence or two in there where there's some slow motion moving. People thought we filmed it in slow motion, but it's actually filmed at this speed right now, but the people in the video are moving really slow at that point. So then we move on. By the time I got to "You Know You're the One," it's the one with the little groundhogs that are having an argument and fighting underground and stuff. By the time I got to that, there were features in the AI program that I'm using, which I will show you, where you can create characters. So then I could go off, and so I asked GPT to actually take my drawings and make me a gopher. And then once I got the gophers that I wanted on a couple of different angles for their faces and such, then I put that into the AI program and made characters for the two gophers. And then using those characters, I can actually, in my prompts, refer to those characters, and it allows me to say, gopher number 1 goes to the door and opens the door. Gopher number 2 is right behind him. He's trying to say, "Don't leave." I can put stage directions in so that the action takes place as I want. At that point, you can do up to 10-second sequences. So that allowed me to have more elaborate scenes and tell a better story. And I had, for that one, created a storyboard, just a document, basically, that said, this happens, this happens, this happens, this happens, all the way through the entire video. So I knew, how many keyframe images I'm going to need. What my storyboard told me is the sort of story arc and the climax, and at the end, they come together and they're happy again at the end after their fight. So that one worked out amazing. It's a really entertaining video to watch, I think, and the characters stay very consistent through the whole video. So check it out if you haven't seen that one.